Hi everyone, my name is Gabriel and this is the Hour of the Raven, your channel for everything Ravenloft, RPG, Dungeons and Dragons, and horror. Today, we will unveil the secrets of the Sea of Sorrows, exploring the horrors that inhabit the mist-covered depths and tides. Before we begin, a few clarifications. To delve into the Sea of Sorrows, we shall expand our reference sources to address this domain. Our exploration through the mist in the core domains of Ravenloft generally cover domains that had already been featured in novels, adventures, and especially in the Ravenloft Gazetteers, books that provide detailed information about the domains and their Dark Lords. The Sea of Sorrows first appeared in the map of the Black Box, Ravenloft's Realm of Terror from 1990, and was expanded and gained more details and a Dark Lord who rules it in the book Domains of Dread. After this first introduction, it received some mentions in other supplements and in the third edition Ravenloft campaign setting. The domain would be covered in one of the third edition gazetteers, focused on the Sea of Sorrows, but unfortunately White Wolf's license to release books for the setting came to an end, and these books were not written. The Ravenloft fan community wouldn't let the setting rot in oblivion. The Fraternity of Shadows website, the most well-known and organized site for fans of the setting, has published netbooks that continue the Gazetteer proposal, exploring in-depth domains of dread. Some of these books explore the Nocturnal Sea, the domain of Sorang, or the cluster of Zerisha, for example, and for some time now they are developing a Gazetteer for the Sea of Sorrows. Although the Sea of Sorrows Gazetteer is not yet finalized, some of its passages describing domains have already been previewed by their authors in Court of the Raven netbooks. In the video description I will leave the link where you can download it. The next videos about the Sea of Sorrows will be based on the official material and the article about the Sea of Sorrows written by Nathan Dimitri Stanislaw Oakland. The article on the Sea of Sorrows was published as a preview of the Gazetteer, and it is possible that the final text will change when the Gazetteer is finally published. In this video I will also cover the article Scales of the Sea of Sorrow, written by Joe Peckin, as a preview of the Van Richten Files Sea Creatures in Court of the Raven 21. Are you ready? On our journey back to the mainland, we cross the Sea of Sorrows as sailors on a Paridonese vessel. Our expectations of a peaceful trip and return to the mainland are shattered when we are attacked by a ship of Blaustian pirates. Everything happens very quickly, and a fierce clash takes place between the crews. Battle efforts are futile, and we quickly find ourselves overwhelmed and captured by the pirates. Taken as prisoners, we are tied up and thrown into the cellars, along with other prisoners and slaves in deplorable conditions. In the darkness of our prison, we hear the wails and cries of the imprisoned, while some, completely insane, begin to declaim the horrors that torment sailors' nightmares. Hour of the Raven. The Sea of Sorrows is a domain covered in mist and mystery, and many of those who sail it believe in strange superstitions. In a place where navigation is often impeded by constant fog, sailors believe that supernatural factors interfere with the fate of vessels. One of the most common superstitions are about navigating on these waters, and how the mists themselves seem to react to the intention and will of the captain, as if reading their thoughts. A Mordantian sailor, dreaming of returning home, would have a better chance of steering a ship through the mists back to Mordant safely, as would other sailors of other nationalities. The mist responds capriciously to the desires of their explorers. Perhaps this is what makes the intrepid captains of the Mists of Peridon so apt to discover new mistways to sail to distant lands. But it also makes men fear what a mad captain or one filled with macabre thoughts might encounter on a sea voyage. Navigators of these waters also believe that the ships themselves have a will and memory of their home port, and that they would remember where it was harvested. Many superstitious people believe that vessels have personality and can behave badly, deviating from unwanted routes when they wish to return to their home port, unless they are in the hands of a captain capable of imposing his will. Another ritual carried out by sailors with this belief is to deceive vessels, rubbing earth or water taken from the place they want to go on their helm and keel, as if this could deceive the vessel's will or induce it to seek this destination. A ship constantly making the journey between Peridon and Hokushima Taiyo may sometimes carry earth and fresh water taken from both destinations to induce its vessel to search for them in the mists. The most curious superstition that circulates among sailors of the Sea of Sorrows, however, is that whoever spills blood and kills someone in its cold waters is doomed to be recruited by the infamous Captain Van Rees at the moment of his death, and his soul will be a doomed crewman of his ghostly vessel, the Relentless. The sight of the mythical ghostly vessel of the Relentless is a sign of ill omen and a legend among sailors, and its Captain Van Rees is said to be capable of sailing to hell and back. No one knows how this legend began, but it's considered true by every experienced sailor who sailed these waters. Coastal waters are immune to this curse, and it's no surprise that many pirates choose to attack vessels in these waters to avoid taking part in the last journey of their soul. Such is the sailors' fears of losing their souls and becoming cursed specters on this vessel, that many ships surrender to pirates without a fight, fearing to kill one of them in combat. Many who accidentally kill someone on the high seas abandon sea life and move far away from the coast, fearing that if they die near the sea, they will be recruited into the Relentless crew. Even pirates avoid shedding unnecessary blood, since legends say that death by bloodshed is what invokes the curse. Executions by walking the plank to drown someone have become common. On the other hand, some pirates take advantage of this superstition and fear, committing abuses. Those who doubt superstition, or who have killed several times, may indulge in foolish type of barbarism. After all, one can only lose his soul once, so there is no point in holding back after already becoming one of the damned. All the superstitions and fears of sailors are as justifiable, as the Sea of Sorrows is indeed full of mysteries and dangers. Some places in the waters are feared by sailors and avoided at all costs. The Slaver Rock is a rocky island north of Blausen with a dangerous reputation. There is usually a pirate vessel near this rock island, and the place served as a base for operations for these violent marauders. The place is sometimes used to store recently captured slaves, while abandoned on the island until they are picked up by more appropriate and large vessels. The rock, which has practically no native vegetation, is only visited by birds that nest there, and many slaves have starved and died in this place, making it haunted. Another place avoided by those who sail in these waters is the Breaker's Reef near Markovia. This place is full of corals and reefs and is extremely dangerous for ships, making navigation to the island a great challenge. The worst thing, however, is that the place is considered by many to be home of the fearsome Shadow Kraken, a mythical ship-destroying sea monster. Another region avoided by sailors in these waters are the Circles, an area of the sea of shallow depth, where from the surface of the waters it is possible to see shadows of strange rocky circles below the surface. Many who sail these waters claim to be overcome by a strange lethargy and mental confusion, and some believe that these underground rocky circles are inhabited by the infamous Morgoths. These sea creatures have aberrant octopus-like bodies and heads with dangerous toothy beaks. Although the goals and society of these creatures of the deep are unknown, they use their telepathic powers to induce this state of lethargy and mental confusion in those who navigate their labyrinth stone circles, and many are devoured or captured by these monsters to serve as sacrifice to their profane marine deities. Among other monsters that inhabit the depths, especially near coastal regions, are the ocean spawn. Especially in summer, it is common for the sea creatures to come close to the coast in search of human flesh. The sea monsters expel and send their servants to the surface, small slugs that seek prey for their master. These slugs scatter on the surface and seek out sleeping defenseless victims. When they find a target, they bite the base of the neck and paralyze the target, while penetrating their brain and dominating the victims, controlling their minds and actions. These victims then began to work as slaves for the ocean spawn master, taking victims to the coastal waters to satisfy their hunger. The most violent race of sea creatures that inhabit this region, however, are the Reavers, or the Scalies, as many sailors in the region call them. These humanoid creatures have bodies covered in scales, with thin finger claws and heads that resemble those of a fish with sharp teeth. Reavers are carnivorous predators and have a special taste for the flesh of sentient creatures, especially human flesh. Organized into clans and led by brute force, they inhabit the depths of the sea during the day, but at night they emerge to feed. Their attack on vessels, especially small and medium-sized ones, are the terror of every sailor in the Sea of Sorrows. But these creatures can also breathe outside the water, at least for a short period of time, when their lungs are moist, and can organize raid attacks on the coast, bringing fear and terror to dry land. Capable of tearing flesh with ease with their claws and fangs, their brutality and bloodthirsty are feared, and they demonstrate primitive intelligence, capable of developing cruel attack tactics. Some of these creatures are even capable of developing supernatural abilities, being able to command schools of fish to hide in their mists or attract fishermen, or command algae to curl up and imprison those who ventured into the waters of their territory. Luckily, these monstrosities don't stray too far from their lairs, and they fear fire and can be driven away by flames. The surface of the sea is also filled with countless terrors, including Blaustian's fearsome pirates. There are many buccaneers who made infamy in these seas due to their terrible acts, but few have a story as macabre and tragic as the infamous Andreas the Sun. Andreas the Sun was the son of an honest sailor, and at a young age he accompanied his father in his naval expeditions. One day, however, his father's ship, the Sea Gypsy, was attacked by a brutal group of pirates. Andreas' father ordered them not to resist, trying to avoid unnecessary deaths. The boat was completely looted, and women who were transported on the ship were kidnapped to be enslaved, including Andreas' mother. The other crew members, including Andreas and his father, were abandoned to their fate in a vessel devoid of any navigation capability or food, and which only contained the rats that inhabit the hold. For days they waited for rescue in vain. During the night, the hungry rats began to attack those who were sleeping, and even killed one of the crew members. Hunger and madness soon spread. Andreas' father, thinking about survival, ordered them to eat the flesh of the dead as a means of sustaining themselves. Madness and cannibalism took over the vessel, and small portions of the bodies were always left to the rats so that they could spare new victims. Rescue never came, and in this grim situation they perished one by one until only Andreas and the rats remained. When everything was lost, and Andreas already imagined that he would be devoured by rodents, a boat rescued him and towed the sea gypsy to a port. The young man was now poor and ruined, but motivated by revenge against the pirates. To obtain resources and repair his vessel, he became involved in crime and smuggling, and soon became successful. His revenge was all that mattered, and he also became a pirate, plundering, torturing and killing to obtain resources and ultimately find those who disgraced him. One day, he finally encountered the pirates who attacked him, lured them into a treacherous trap, and captured their boat and crew. Wanting them to suffer as he and his companion did, he whipped them on the deck and made the crew watch as he released hungry rats on the wounded pirates to be devoured alive. The captain of the ship, before being executed in this way, cursed Andreas the son, so that the rats would take him. When his revenge was complete, the mists enveloped his ship and carried him to the demiplane of dread in the Sea of Sorrows. In the land of the mists, he became the terror of the seas, but indeed he was cursed. He became a were-rat, but his transformations are involuntary. While he is on his ship, he appears to be human, but whenever he orders an attack on another vessel, his monstrous were-rat form appears. Those in his crew are also cursed with lycanthropy, but in a different way. While they are on the vessel, they are always in their monstrous hybrid form. But when attacking any other ship, they become a horde of monstrous giant rats, surprising their opponents. Maddened and overcome by hatred, Andreas the son still roams the sea, pillaging and torturing in search of information on the whereabouts of his mother, whom he believes to be alive, but always beyond his reach in the mists. As expected, in a sea so violent and full of dangers, the waters of the Sea of Sorrows are haunted by different types of undead. Among the incorporeal manifestations that can be found in its waters are remnants, undead spirits imprisoned in the place of their death, and which now manifest themselves in the waters where they perished. Although incorporeal, their spiritual hands can become partially solid to drag victims into the depths and drown them, to share the torment of their spirits, eternally imprisoned in the cold waters, where they were taken against their will and killed in a horrific way. Its touch can transmit a deadly cold, which quickly drains the victim's agility, leading to hypothermia. Some believe that not all of these spirits are hostile, and some just want company and can even help someone in need. Others claim that those who give in to the sinister kiss of these floating faces in the waters share their last memories and horrors of their death. Another type of spectre much feared by the sailors in the Sea of Sorrows is the Bawling. These torment spirits were once sailors who died in a maritime accident, but who, due to their cruelty and selfishness, returned from the dead to take revenge on their companions. These undead are invisible, although they may choose to appear before an enemy in the hideous form of a cadaverous body, showing the scars of their death. And haunting a vessel, they begin to cause small events that lead to terrible accidents and the death of their companions, generally trying to replicate the tragic situation that led to their death. Its ghostly touch is capable of sending a target into a terrible, debilitating nausea. But the spirit of vengeance is tied to the ocean where they perished. One of the most drastic ways to eliminate a Bawling is to run a ship aground, causing it to lose its connection to the sea. Another terrifying type of undead found in these waters is the Jolly Roger. These undead are reanimated corpses of cruel pirates who died in these waters, but who were driven by such deep evil and corruption that they returned from death by the force of their hatred, only to torment the living. Their decomposed bodies often resemble zombies, but covered in seaweed and shells, and they still wear robes from their commanding position as captains. A guttural scraping sound always escapes from their throats that resembles constant sinister laughter. They are unable to communicate in words, although they telepathically command the zombie crew that accompanies them. Those touched by these creatures can succumb to a hysterical, deadly laughter that will leave them choking for air in a few rounds, only to become zombie sailors at their commands. In unholy decrepit vessels, emerging from the depths to plunder and terrorize the living. With the exception of the Relentless and its captain Van Rees, perhaps the most feared ship of the undead to roam the seas are the Eusong and the captain Alen Beck. Many centuries ago, Alen Beck was a Viking raider from an icy land. His vessel Eusong and its crew were the terror of other neighboring nations, where he carried out brutality and violence in his raids. In one of these loots, he stole a helmet from a wizard's tower, without knowing that it possessed a magical gem capable of granting him a wish. For some time, he wore this helmet, but even this mighty warrior was doomed to meet an end. While sailing back home, they were attacked by a terrible sea monster, a large octopus that had vampire fangs instead of a beak, and whose tentacles seemed to drain the strength of the victims. When his boat and crew were destroyed, and he was dragged into the depths to his death, he cursed the gods and fervently wished that he and his crew could return to fight another day. Suddenly, he and his crew seemed to come back to life, and the octopus monster was gone. The depths of the water no longer bothered him, and they swam back to the surface, where he was able to summon his boat from the depths. Soon he realized that his first mate was now a Jolly Roger, and his crew were now sea zombies, while he had a great thirst for blood and salt. Sailing to the fjord at night to his homeland, he sought the help of the clerics and the gods to be cured, but received no salvation. In his fury, he destroyed his own village, and the mist swallowed him, taking him to the Sea of Sorrows. Captain Alden Beck is a unique type of vampire who drains not only the blood but the salt from the body of his victims. He can transform into a huge vampire octopus, just like the monster that destroyed him, and whose tentacles suction cups drain the salt from the body of his victims. During the day, this marauding Viking, his undead crew and ghostly vessel sink into the depths of the sea. At nightfall, they emerge from the waters to plunder and pillage other ships and ports. When attacking ships, the captain often strikes first in the form of a terrifying octopus sea monster, while his crew take advantage of the chaos to dock the rival vessel, pillage its riches, and devour its flesh. Whoever finds the hoard treasure looted by Alden Beck in the depths of the Sea of Sorrows will find great fortune if he can defeat the monsters that looted it. The prison hold of the pirates' ships are filled with madness, pain, and suffering, and the ranged sailors recite a litany of horrors and superstitions. In the darkness, it is difficult to know how much time has passed and where we are being taken, but after a while we begin to feel a strange uneasiness. The full moon approaches. Aware of our lupine curse, we thought about how to take revenge on these pirates. We warn our companions to, whatever happens, stay in the basement, and if possible, bar the doors. In a sudden fit of madness and courage, we began insulting our captors until we were taken to the main deck to be flogged and tortured. In the cold misty night, we suffer beatings and lashes until the mist finally part to reveal the full moon above us. Fury and brutality fill our minds as we transform into murderous monsters. Soon, the pirate ship becomes the scene of a carnage as we take revenge and satisfy our animal hunger. The next morning, we woke up on the deck bloodied. The pirates are dead, and we go to the basement to free our fellow prisoners. Our fellow sailors take control and direction of the vessel, but in their eyes we see fear and terror about what we are. Throughout the day, much is discussed among the sailors, until the new captain gives his verdict. Despite their gratitude for the rescue, a new full moon night lies ahead, and we are a risk for everyone. Furthermore, we shed blood in the seas. We are condemned souls, and the Relentless would certainly come after us, recruiting us for our last journey. With provisions and water, we are placed in a small rowing boat and lowered into the sea. Row as fast as you can north, towards Markovia, before death and the Relentless reach you, the ungrateful crew tell us before leaving us to our fate. Join us, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, and let's review the secrets of Captain Van Rees and his ghostly vessel before he comes to claim our souls.